men and women want to feel understood.
Right.
So I truly am trying to understand you, because I feel like what I need deeply from you also is to understand my nature.
Right.
And I also believe that a lot of men struggle with, like you said, trying to turn a pig into a cat. Like, I'm a woman. I'm going to always be a woman. And something that we're realizing is that men and women are divinely wired different. You know, you got a lion's mane, you know, you got the beard, hair, face, all of that. Right. I don't have that, praise the Lord. Oh, my soul. Okay. Right. You know, and then in addition to that, you know, you hanging, I'm not. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so we're different there. We understand externally, but what about internally? What about the way our brains are wired?
That's it.
What about the way we process when we're communicating or comprehending or understanding one another?
Every time we have this conversation, hard to break in, face to face, but we don't know how to face it. Yeah, we're done, but we're too afraid to say it. Time is racing. Every time we have this conversation, hard to break in, face to face, but we don't know how to face it. Almost perfect, but not adjacent. Time is racing, babe, and I don't want you to waste it.
Hey, husband.
What's going on,
what
baby?
What are we going to talk about today, sir?
Man, I know we've been talking about a lot of stuff, because there's a whole lot that we got to talk about.
Because we deal with couples every day, and there's a lot of issues that we encounter. But today we're going to talk about one of the most common issues that we encounter.
You want to talk about it? Because this may be a little touchy.
No, I think
the battle of the sexes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, babe. I want to talk about, you know, how we as a woman, me as a woman, I'm going to speak for us sisters out here, right?
Okay.
And you're going to talk for the brothers, you know, because I find that a lot of the challenges in marriage comes from a lack of understanding one another.
Yeah.
And I'm finding and I'm learning that not only women need understanding, right? We don't understand each other.
That's serious. Like,
okay.
And that's I think that causes like a wedge in between husband and wife sometimes, because sometimes the husbands feel like, you know, because we're the leaders, and, you know, not to play my mini violin.
Go on ahead, honey.
But sometimes husbands feel like we get the short end of the stick sometimes, because we do have a major responsibility of being the leader.
True.
But all we ask is just understanding. Just understand that we're human too, that we have needs also and things like that. So I mean, we can dig into it if you're ready. You want to go down this path?
We should, because I really truly believe that this is going to help so many couples. Every session we get into, when we do mediation, when we do mentorship, most of the sessions have something to do with what we're about to talk about.
Absolutely.
And we're all in the business of getting solutions and answers and getting to the root of what the issues are.
Yep.
And so I just believe that when we gain a deeper understanding of each other, then we can get to a resolution regarding a lot of the conflict that a lot of couples go through.
Absolutely.
So, I mean...
Absolutely.
What has been for you one of the greatest challenges that you've had with me?
Yeah.
Understanding me. Where do you struggle? Yes.
I'm in the interview seat right now.
Where do you normally struggle when you're trying to understand me as a woman?
Oh my gosh. The main thing for me has been a struggle is learning how to deal with your emotions. Like, can I be real? Can I talk about the real stuff here?
Please explain, because it's not like I'm emotional. Like,
say that again?
I'm not emotional.
You are emotional, all right? You are emotional. And learning to deal with your emotions, because most of the time, you know, with me, it's like, okay, when we're good. We can have fun. We enjoy ourselves. We're connected. And then, you know, right after me and you might be laughing and connecting. Boom. What is this mood? What is...
Something shifts. The atmosphere shifts.
But I do want to say this too, because we've been through a lot.
Yeah.
We've been through a lot in our marriage, a lot of healing and stuff like that. So, you know, a lot of things are happening internally, that we, really had to deal with.
Yeah, and you might have said something, or maybe I heard something, or maybe I had just watched something. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my whole mood might shift. And when I say shift, I might get quiet.
Yeah.
For example, right? And you don't, I don't know. You don't like that.
I don't know what that is. I don't know. You just get quiet. And, and this is something that we find that is normal. Or common for women to do. And the hardest part for me is understanding what y'all need in those moments when y'all do pull away.
So how do you feel when I get quiet? When I get quiet, what is going on internally?
I can talk about me.
Please,
I'm gonna talk about me.
Help the husbands out here. Okay.
Now I've learned, because I've studied you. I've had enough teaching and whatever. And I know you better as a woman. But before, I used to think that all the time I did something wrong, or you wasn't happy with me. So
is it fair to say that as your wife, what I want to say is, I know that you are, you've improved drastically in this area, but is it safe to say you haven't mastered understanding my emotions?
I don't think we ever get to a place.
In moods.
I really don't ever think that we'll get to a place where we master, even husband and wives, understanding each other. I think we will never get to that place where we master each other. We will get better. I think we should definitely be, if that's mastery of, but
it's progressing and getting better.
Yeah, getting better.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
that's the goal.
That's the whole goal. I think that because we're so different. And you got a default way of behaving. I got a default way of behaving, hearing, seeing, perception,
absolutely,
feeling, all these. We all have different defaults as a man and woman that we naturally do. And I think that has. And
you're saying that's our nature.
That's so
there's a nature, a male nature, and a female nature.
I think that's a good point. That's a good point. That's nature.
Okay.
Nature. It's our nature, and this is something that I think we got to hone in. Because this is where, like, we do a lot of sessions and a lot of couples come to us and they fighting against each other's natures. And it's like you trying to change a pig into a cat.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
And that's how I feel sometimes. I know for me as a woman, when I'm feeling some type of way, or I have to come to you about how I feel. I want to talk really quickly, babe, about a time a couple months back where... What? We all about being transparent. We all about keeping it about. This is for real
conversation.
This is for real conversations.
We're going to talk about the real.
I just believe by sharing this example, it could truly help somebody. So I remember one day I woke up, I was just quiet, right? I'm quiet. Nothing really major happened between the two of us, but I just got quiet. And we were in the bathroom preparing to get ready, and I walked out of the bathroom still quiet, right? And I came downstairs, and normally I would probably say, hey, babe, I'm going downstairs. I'll see you in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't say anything. I just came downstairs, and so I sat in a room by myself. So I heard you come downstairs now. You came downstairs, and you didn't come directly to the room I was in. And I'm sitting there like, oh, boy, I wonder if he's going to come sit with me, chill with me, talk with me, or avoid me. Uh-oh.
Okay. All right.
So
all these things you're processing while you're quiet.
I am.
Okay.
Because I know you. Okay. So to my surprise, you came in the room that I was in. You stood at the doorway of the room and you were like, everything okay? You good? So then I came back and said, because we've been together for a minute, I said, honey, are you asking me if I'm okay because you genuinely care about what I'm feeling on the inside?
Oh, gosh.
Or are you asking me if I'm okay because you're trying to see if I'm upset with you?
That was a good question. That was a real question. That was a good question.
And here we go again, to my surprise. The way you answered and responded...
I had a stupid moment. Okay?
I was just shocked, babe, because you normally...
I had a stupid moment.
Don't come like that. But you were like...
And then there's, context is because that day before, we already had like a difficult conversation.
Okay.
And that's what... So we getting up that next morning and then here we go.
Okay.
And so my response to that question was... I I said, man, I just feel like I'm in this bubble of your up and down emotions, and that was...
No, you were like, well, I just feel like I'm always going through your emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it's something like that. And honestly, I'm be honest, like when I was saying, it was like I had an out of body experience.
Okay.
It was like I was on the outside of myself, looking at myself with these words coming out of my mouth, and I'm like, stop, don't say that. And I couldn't stop this person. I couldn't stop this person from saying it. And and right after I said the last stupid word, I entered back into my body, and now it was too late. I was in trouble. So it's like I didn't know why I said that, because right after I said it, I felt so. I knew I said the wrong thing, and that's why I had to apologize.
And you did right away. You recalibrated, like right after you said that. I said thank you.
You gave me the... Yeah.
And I'm nice and polite, just like how I am right now.
I know the demon mouth been rising right here.
Yo, I just can't go there, man. I was just...
You did good.
I was disappointed. It wasn't even anger, and so I just said, thank you for sharing that. I said, now, to be honest, I no longer feel safe telling you what I'm feeling, but I will say this. What I'm feeling has nothing to do with you.
That right there was...
And I know that probably made you feel even worse, but I had to say
that made me feel worse, because I did honestly think that, okay, what did I do now? Like, what is... Like, can we stay at peace for... So that's where all that came from.
Yeah, I know.
But that was insensitive. That was low emotional intelligence. And we got through that.
We did get through it, but it was such a learning experience for both of us. Now, I processed myself too. I said, okay, Christina, what could you have done differently? I could have vocalized what I was feeling on the inside instead of allowing you to fact check and come and pursue me and ask me questions. I take ownership for that. I definitely could have just said, babe, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm going through. Right. But I needed time because...
You admitting that now?
I admitted it, sir, afterwards.
It usually take a long time. That's another thing that I don't understand with the woman. But you did. You came to me and say, maybe I should have told you what I was feeling. That would eliminate everything from the beginning, from the get-go.
You know what? Whatever. But a part of emotional intelligence is self-awareness. That's the first stage of emotional intelligence. So I honestly needed to process what I was even feeling. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot that had transpired the day before, and I was processing, not only between us, but just life was coming in at different angles. It was hitting me, And so I was sitting by myself because I genuinely was trying to process. You feel me? But I could have also maybe vocalized, hey, babe, I'm everything's good, but I need a moment to process. And I admit I could have said that.
And this is one of the challenges that we find not only in our relationships, but a lot of relationships that we talk to.
Right.
With people where the husband is like, I don't know how to handle her emotions.
Don't know how to figure out.
And the wife is like, he just leave me. That's like he abandoned me.
Yep.
He leaves me. He
like, oh boy, here she go. Let me go the other way.
He knows that I feel a certain kind of way, but then he leaves me where I'm at.
Yep.
And that has been like my hardest thing. And not only that, but to also be able to respond to you the right way without offense. That has been one of my hardest things because
why do you think that is? Like, what do you feel like? Why do you think, like, are you protecting something? And this is me trying to understand. Me and millions of other women all over the world are trying to understand, like, man, we feel like when we come to our husbands about the marriage or the relationship, we get like a kickback. Yeah. And it's not just you. It's men, all men that we talk to.
A lot of men.
Most men, I'm not going to say all, but most men that we talk to oftentimes like give this protection that you go into a protective mode or something to.
It's different reasons. It differs for each relationship because it could be the approach sometimes. It can be, that man dealing with just internal stuff, rejection, insecurities. That's one thing that we know that both men and women come with insecurities. And so I think that with me, it was some of all of them really.
Okay.
And but
did it make you feel like I'm saying you're a bad person? Because I felt like I would get that
definitely,
sometimes.
definitely.
Okay.
You know, it really did. We want that ego to. We want to be. We want to feel like we're adequate, like we are doing the right thing.
Okay.
It's a challenge to take critique sometimes. It is a challenge to take, and that's not only with men.
Yeah.
But mostly for men because we're naturally leaders. Mm-hmm. What does it look like for your leader to have a flaw?
So is it a flaw or is it just your nature? Because I'm just
it's a nature. And this is something that we as men have to understand about ourselves. Because of our nature as being leaders, we don't like critique and that's pride.
Or to seem like you're failing,
right?
In marriage, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So when us as wives come to you and say, "Honey, what's the state of our relationship right now?
Yep.
Babe, I need more from you here."
That could be the weakest area in our life. So we don't want to talk. We don't want to talk about the weakness.
Interesting.
Let's talk about the strengths.
Let's
talk about the strengths.
Let's talk about your job, your career.
That's it.
Areas that you're excelling in.
There you go.
So maybe that's what it is.
I'm giving you too much game. Hold on. I'm giving you too much game.
No.
Too much game here.
But notice what we said at the beginning.
Okay.
Men and women want to feel understood.
Right.
So I truly am trying to understand you because I feel like what I need deeply from you also is to understand my nature.
Right.
And I also believe that a lot of men struggle with, like you said, trying to turn a pig into a cat. Like, I'm a woman. I'm going to always be a woman. And something that we're realizing is that men and women are divinely wired different by our Creator. Our Creator, God, Adonai, He created men and women very different. You got a lion's mane, you got the beard, hair, face, all of that.
Right.
I don't have that, praise the Lord. Oh, my soul. Okay.
Right.
And then in addition to that, reproductive or you got, you hanging, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so we're different there. We understand externally, but what about internally? What about the way our brains are wired?
That's it.
What about the way we process when we're communicating or comprehending or understanding one another?
That's it.
And so you and I know for a fact, have been doing a lot of studying because we're trying to figure each other out. Like we've been rocking together for 27 years and we will be married in 2 weeks for 23 years. Yeah. And I know I haven't mastered you yet, and you haven't mastered me yet.
That's going to be an ongoing challenge because I can't turn you into a man.
And I don't want to be.
No. I want you. The only thing that we need to do with each other is try to understand each other. Mm-hmm. We can't. You can't be me. Mm-hmm. I can't be you. Mm-hmm. But at least I can understand that your emotions are precious. Mm-hmm. It's not a flaw. It's nothing wrong with you. Now, what marriage does, it causes me to adjust my nature. I can't change my nature. You can't change a pig into a cat. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
So
but you could what you can do. I can learn to adjust to accommodate your emotions, and what that does, it just takes more information. It takes humility. It takes me dropping my pride. It does take. If I really care about you, then what comes to my heart is, okay, she's emotional. I got to learn how to live with a woman.
So now when we hear men say, I know I'm not the only woman. Yeah. When we hear men say she's emotional, that feels offensive.
It is offensive.
It does, man. Like, what do you mean? It almost feels like we're broken. It almost feels like you're saying that we're weird. You're saying that, I don't know. It just feels a little like a defect. You know what I'm saying? So I like to use the terminology we're different because men have emotions too.
Right.
Some men pop off and get angry with the quickness, have no self-control, and that would be classified as emotional too. You see what I'm saying? So we're learning that both men and women can be emotional at times in the relationship. And so that's why we both need emotional intelligence to manage our emotions. And so what we say is that we're different.
Yeah.
We're different. We process our emotions differently.
Yeah.
I know for me, let me say it this way. Our deepest needs are different. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And that's what I wanted to talk about too.
Yeah, our deepest needs are different. So let me ask you a question. What would be your deepest need from me? I'm sure you have plenty needs. All right. And it may take, you may have a handful because most men, y'all don't ask for much. I'll be the first to admit. Okay. But what would be just one? What would be your deepest need from me?
My deepest need. As a man, we talked about it a little bit. Understanding. I need, now as I'm older, I think my deepest need is feeling like I'm enough.
Feeling like you're enough.
Feeling like I'm enough.
Okay.
Feeling like I'm doing my job. That's one of the deepest needs. And we as a wife, this is where most men we want you to pat us on the back. We want you to, be our biggest cheerleader. We want you to tell us the good things that we're doing, not only the bad things.
So let's pause there. You said your deepest need is feeling that you're enough and that you're adequate and that you're doing your job. So because of that deepest need, is that why you have a challenge oftentimes when I bring a comment or a complaint?
Absolutely.
In regards to either our relationship, I need, it could be romance, for example. If I come to you about romance, and say, babe, what's up now? We've been a little too busy lately, babe. I love you and everything, but I need my buddy. I need my man. I need some time for you. I need some us time.
Right.
When I come to you, and I try my best to come to you the right way now, because I understand respect is a deep need as well, and honor for you. So I try to make sure the tone and all of that is on point. But it still targets the deep need. When I say you're not meeting something, it still makes you feel inadequate. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. More. Yeah.
Yeah. That is like, like we said before, that is something that it's an insecurity because we always want to feel like we're strong. I always want to feel like I'm strong.
Okay.
And like, and that's where the power, y'all have a lot of power in marriage, more power than y'all think.
Okay.
That's why the Bible said you have the power as a woman to build the house, especially with your words, the way you build your husband up. Even if he have challenges, you can actually build,
Okay.
It's almost as similar to Ephesians 5, where the Bible tells us to wipe away the spots and the blemishes.
Okay.
See, y'all may come with some things that are in disbelief, some pains or some hurts, which is our responsibility to clean and wash. But a man always, most of the time, if you have a confident man, we want to stay at that level of confidence. So we need you to cheer us on. We need you to say, hey, babe, you're a good man. You thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this. Even in the midst of a concern or something that you want them to change or want us to change. But season that concern or complaint with lifting a man up.
So what I'm thinking about as you were talking is I had an image of a king, right? I see you as a king. I get up every morning. I say, good morning, my king, right?
Thank you, baby.
And
thank you, my queen orchid.
In kingdoms, when you are coming to visit a king, you bring a gift, right? That's just the protocol. You don't enter the presence of a king without a gift.
Come on,
right?
That's it.
And so I'm again, this is coming from me genuinely trying to understand you and your nature. So the gift that I can bring is praise. The gift that I can bring is affirmation and edification before before I bring my complaint, before I bring my issue to you, I have to bring the gift of praise.
That's it.
Ephesians 5, I want to say towards the end of Ephesians 5 in the Amplified version, maybe verse 31 through 33 or something, it talks about wives, see to it that you notice your husband, right? See to it that you notice your husband. And so that stuck out for me. And not only that, I'm supposed to notice you, but I'm supposed to see to it. So when it says see to it, that sounds like I need to be intentional about it. I need to be deliberate about it.
That's
I need to put forth effort. And maybe what it's saying also is it might not be natural for me to do that because it says see to it. All right. That's now don't forget this. Right. And what I'm finding is a lot of us women feel like it's just extra to do all of that. Like, yo, why can't we just be assertive? Most women are assertive. We'll come directly in with whatever the issue is. And, we're not being aggressive. We're not yelling. We're not being disrespectful. We're being assertive. Honey, I need you to do this. Yeah. Honey, why wasn't this done yesterday when you said you were going to do it? Why is that like wrong? Well, because you're a king. And something that I realized is, what if our boss, I know, when I used to work in corporate America, I remember meeting with my VP every Thursday. And I wouldn't have approached him like that. Like, why didn't you do this? You said you were going to do this, but you didn't do this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a certain level of reverence that we're supposed to have for authority. And you are my authority. And I accept and I submit to that.
And I know that, like, we might have some people shutting down this podcast.
I know. That's a lot. I know.
That's what we got to get back to in marriage. Back to honor.
Come through.
Because people don't realize that God already established order.
In the family.
Yes. He established order, and the things that he established is set by God. It's an order set by God. And if we try to deviate outside of that order, then we outside of the will of God. That's what's going on in marriages now. That's what's going on in homes right now. That's what's going on in relationships.
We're out of order. We're just flat out of order.
Order. And now, especially in our community, now the husbands are like, what do we do with this? The wives are like, oh no, and rightfully so. Wives, are standing up for their rights because you need to. Wives need to be treated, because us as men, we haven't been understanding you and giving you your deepest needs. We have, and especially in our culture, we have been neglecting you instead of studying you, understanding you, so that we can be that husband that we're supposed to be. We've been treating you wrong, really.
And that brings me to Ephesians 5 and maybe 30 or something like that. In the Amplified, it says, husbands, make sure you have behavior that's worthy of respect too. Because if you're supposed to be a king, not only do you deserve that position, but there's responsibilities that come with the position. Now, your behavior can't be disrespectful.
That's it.
And you expecting this woman to honor and respect you.
Because it confuses the wife.
Absolutely.
It causes confusion. That's where confusion comes. You can't, if you're a leader, she looks at you as a leader, but if you're not acting like the leader, now
what we gonna do?
You leave your wife confused.
Listen.
Like, you leave your wife confused. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we out of order in the house, and everybody needs to get in order. I want to submit to you as my husband. But I also need you to be submitted to Christ.
That's it.
You see what I'm saying? We both have a position in the home, and I just believe that when we both get back in alignment, then maybe we'll start really understanding each other. And I think that's why you and I have a deeper understanding for each other now, is because we have accepted our role and our position now, and we're walking in that.
So I got a question for you, because men need to know your need, and I'm gonna sit at your feet.
Please, let's talk about it.
I'm gonna sit at your feet, okay? All right. What is one of your major needs as a woman? And I want you to speak on behalf of women, as Shallow coming in. He interested in this conversation too. Hey, buddy.
Anyway,
but how can you help me and at the same time help men understand their wives? What does a woman need?
The simplest way to put it is that your wife needs to feel loved at all times. Feel is the key word. You know, I feel like we out here saying, oh, you should know I love you. You know, I married you, didn't I? Mm-hmm. You know, and that doesn't automatically make this woman feel like you love her. I can easily, for some reason, and I have to talk to my creator about this, and I have many times to understand myself too. Okay. I find that it's easy for me to not feel loved by you. And I know that's not
the challenge.
I know
men have a problem with that, you know, and we do go to this place where it's like, you should know I love you. Why do I always have to prove my love to you? That's one of the frustrations. And
that's why when conflict happens, or if we bring a concern and you dismiss our concern, it makes us feel like you don't care about us. It makes us feel like you don't love us, because if you love me, you would listen to me. If you love me, you would understand me. If you love me, you would spend time with me. If you love me, you wouldn't cheat on me. If you love me, you would provide for me. So everything with us as a woman goes to the root of not feeling loved. At the core, it's all about, do you really love me? So your behavior, more than anything, lets us know if you actually love us, not your words. You know, we appreciate you saying I love you, but what we're really monitoring is your behavior of love.
That is the challenge, because we feel like, number one, you should know that we love you. And we think that with this knowing that y'all should automatically know, that we don't have to do much to make you feel love.
Interesting.
And this is the challenge for a man, because most men, and this is what I had to come to the realization of, is that that doesn't leave you. It stays.
The switch stays on. Like
it stays on.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge. And once I realized that, you know, and still, honestly, because I'm always going to be a man, I still have to remind myself to do things, that just little things to show you that I love you.
Absolutely.
I have write letters, and
it's like deposits.
It is deposits. It's like deposits.
Yeah, it's like when you make a deposit into our heart by some form of action, little or big, right? Yeah. It reassures us. I feel like we need a reassurance of your love more than anything. No, sir. Yeah. I feel like we need a reassurance. I think I could say it like that.
Yeah.
So whatever you did for me yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Yo. Ooh. Hear me. Look at me when I say this, love. Ooh. It expired at midnight.
Ooh my God.
I need more deposits today, because it fuels me. It energizes me. It motivates me. But just like that's a challenge for you, it's also a challenge for us when we always have to do this all the time.
That's the thing.
When we always have to praise y'all, notice y'all, acknowledge everything you do. Honey, thank you for taking out the trash. Honey, thank you for cleaning the kitchen. Thank you for putting some gas in my car. Thank you for paying the bills.
Staying fly for the boom boom room.
Listen.
Come on now.
Thank you.
So those are the things that we have. It's our responsibility as husband and wife. Now,
to meet the deepest need of each other, to at least aim for it.
Yeah.
You know, God is the source now. We ain't trying to be each other's gods out here, right? Yeah. We get it that our true source for love and identity and all of that self-worth comes from God.
Absolutely.
At the core. But because, you know, we chose each other to spend the rest of our lives with each other, we should live sacrificially. And expressing our love towards each other.
Big time. That is the challenge. Like we talk to couples all the time, and this had been a part of our relationship too, where it was like, okay, we're good as friends. We're good as business partners. We like whenever we put our heads together, like we can make lemons out of lemonade when we get together
all day.
You know, at any time. Like we are that power couple. We
can make lemonade out of lemons.
We can make lemonade out of lemons.
Yep.
You know. We're that power couple. But what we realize, even after talking with other couples, it's like some couples, they operate like that, just like us. But then when it comes to the responsibility of husband and wife, that's where the challenge is, because, you know, most people don't take the time to understand their spouse.
Yes.
And they understand these needs. And so it's like, okay, yeah, we can laugh and have fun, kiki.
Yep.
But when it's time to sit down and talk about the relationship,
it's crickets. Now we quiet. Now it's feeling awkward and weird. And now when y'all were just vibing, and you know what I'm saying. Now when somebody says, honey, let's talk about us. Like, how are you feeling about me as your husband or wife?
Yep.
Now it's like we pull away from that conversation. We don't want to talk about that because that's requiring something of us.
There you go.
When you come to me and say you need something, then that's tugging at my selfishness, to be honest. I think we're all naturally selfish in a sense, and I feel like marriage.
You so you including yourself in this?
Well, let me say it this way.
I want to get a little closer now.
I think we all have this ego. I know we often say men have an ego, but I feel like us as women have one in a way, because I don't want to have to always
that's true.
come to you and add honey and sugar and all kinds of
you want to speak how
I gotta
you feel
set
sometimes.
you up. I gotta disarm you. I gotta make sure that I'm saying everything right so that you don't get offended with me, so that you don't feel disrespected. Yeah. And that's a challenge for me because I'm a keep it real type of person. I'm very assertive. And that doesn't really work for you, because of that kingly position that you have. And so sometimes I be like, man, look, I don't feel like doing all of that.
And it's sometimes I see you struggling. You be struggling like,
Troy,
how do I say this?
Man.
You be praying. I see you got an oil spot on the top of your head. Like you done been your knees already. So what we praying so much.
So what we want to do instead is attack each other. I've told you a couple times. I said, I think you're just too sensitive. Remember?
You said that.
I said, I think you just being too sensitive, man. I don't have to praise you.
I am sensitive.
But then I'm sensitive too.
I am sensitive when it comes to. It is when it comes to that part of me. My crown.
All right.
We need y'all to polish our crown.
Oh Lord.
And what that means is that it's honor. That's all it is. When you honor us, you polish our crown. When we love you, we polish your crown.
Okay. And I can agree with that. And because I'm trying to understand you now. I have a will to understand you now, and I believe you have a will to understand me now. Because in the past, we would just attack each other for our differences.
That's it.
Like I would just say, LaTroy, look, come on now. Right. I'm not disrespecting you.
Right.
Look, my tone was right now when I came to you, because you used to throw that disrespect card at me all the time.
I used to throw that.
I'm like, man, come on. Like, I think you just trying to have it out for me because I really tried that time.
I used to pull it out.
I put forth a lot of effort. I prayed.
I said,
processed.
babe, I just need you to spend more time. That's disrespectful. Like I pull that card out all the time.
I'm like, babe.
See, look how you looking at me right now. That disrespectful. That's
okay, so I'm just not gonna say nothing around this house then. You're okay. Because I did feel like it started to get to a point like, okay, well then I just can't say anything that's wrong in our relationship.
That shuts you down.
Yeah, I just gotta be a mute. I gotta be muzzled. I can't ever express how I really feel. I can't be really genuine with you.
Right.
Because if I ever bring up a complaint, it's gonna make you feel away.
Right.
So it started to cause me to pull away emotionally, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't understand. And I thought it was just you being away, you being, until I started hearing so many other men saying the same thing. So I was like, okay, maybe this is just his nature. Because I thought it was LaTroy.
Right.
Okay. And then with me, my deepest need is to always feel loved by you. You also thought I was being too sensitive, and because I would tell you, babe, you too harsh.
Yeah.
The way you talk to me.
I started to feel like, man, this is too much. Like, do I have it in me to give you what you need? Because I just like, my God, I just did this yesterday for you. You know what I'm saying? I just did this yesterday for me. Now, what's wrong? Why are you not? You feeling unloved again? But it's like you said, after 12 o'clock, another day starts. What are you doing for me today? That's just the way a woman thinks. And I had to adjust to that. I had to start to understand that that's a need for you. It will never change. my goal and my job and my responsibility.
That's the word.
Is to show you my love for you every single day. And now, how does that look? How would a man? Because I'm pretty sure we got some men watching this podcast and ladies that's gonna pass this podcast to their husbands. Like, how would a man show that everyday love?
How does making a woman feel love look practically?
How does that look practically?
Defend her. Always defend her. Ooh. Always protect her. Ooh. Protect her heart. You know, we feel love when we feel safe. Ooh. When we feel emotionally safe. You know, a lot of times a good man would protect his wife physically. Mm-hmm. You know, if somebody were to run up on her or something like that. But protect her in communication. Ooh. You know, protect her when she's communicating her feelings to you by listening. Just listen. Okay. When you do the simplest thing, and I know I call it simple, but it's not. For most people, listening is a whole job for somebody to really listen, because listening is an act of the heart. Right? And so when you selflessly listen to your wife, you set your perspectives to the side for a second, and you give her your undivided attention that makes her feel loved, heard, seen, valued. You know, I've spoken with so many women, and I can speak for myself. I'm not big on materialism. You know, though I appreciate the gift, though I appreciate, you know, the things that you may do for me monetarily. To me, it feels like it doesn't stick. You know what I'm saying? You can buy me something and I'm like, oh, thank you, babe, you know? And then it wears off. Right. And that's not being unappreciative. I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all of that. Right. But when you do something that really targets my heart, it sticks. So when I feel listened to, when I feel heard in communication, so many women, when we get into our sessions, what is the main area that they feel they would like for their husbands to improve in? Yeah. Communication, the way he communicates with her.
Yeah, that's a major part.
We're big on your words, and I believe that's why in Ephesians 5, the Bible says, wash your wife with the water of the word. The water of the word.
How would a husband do that? You know, because I think on both sides, we want that good communication. But for a wife, how would a husband communicate better? Like, like you said, what does that practically look like? How would he speak to you?
Like a father would talk to his daughter. Like a good father would communicate with his daughter. Ooh. Knowing that she is all woman on the outside, but there is a little girl, there's a heart of a little girl on the inside. So when you communicate to her with gentleness, I dare a good father. Let me say it this way. I don't want to believe that a good father would be harsh towards his 5-year-old daughter, his 8-year-old daughter, but he would be gentle, patient, understanding, compassionate, and that would make your wife feel loved at the core.
That's the adjusting that I was talking about that a husband has to do, because our nature is we as men we're hard, abrasive, you know, because we're designed to be the protector, the leaders, the trailblazers and stuff like that. And so that's the part that I was saying. To understand a wife and what she needs, when I understand that you need that fatherly, that gentleness, now I have to curve that nature. I have to, okay, hold on. Let me soften up. It's okay to be the warrior and a conqueror out there. But when it comes to my wife,
absolutely,
you know, I have to be the soft, cuddly, loving, kind, you know, and now sensitive, you know, and now I understand that because we've been dealing for a while. But even now, because of that nature, sometimes I got to readjust. Absolutely. Like even when, you know, some of our conversations, you would tell me, you're not listening. You know, wow.
Oh my God, that would just anger me. Oh Lord.
That when I hear that, wow, you said that, like, wow, why do you? And so I have to readjust and reset. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right, baby. All right.
And then immediately I'm thinking, he don't love me.
Right.
Oh, that I just, you know, just forget it. And then we start shutting down emotionally. Yep. And then women find themselves in this place of emotional divorce almost. Like they start tapping out when they feel unheard, unloved, and you know, and so it's big. And one thing that we have to realize is that your need to be noticed, your need to be acknowledged, your need to be praise, like, well done, I see you, I see what you're doing, is like oxygen, you know. I can't minimize that, though I might not need to be praised and noticed. And most women, I think why we struggle too is because we're like, yo, nobody noticed us for all the stuff that we do around here. Like all the stuff we do for these kids, for this house, for you, nobody's patting us on our back. And so sometimes we rebel against all of that acknowledgement and affirmation that we got to give to you because nobody's giving it to us.
Absolutely.
Right? And so because we don't have I wouldn't say we don't have a need. It would be nice from time to time for us to have somebody to say, mama or babe, thank you. I see you.
Right.
Thank you for keeping the house clean. Thank you for always providing, you know, toilet paper. Come on. Do y'all even know how it gets here all the time?
Yes.
But just thank you for being the good woman that you are, the good wife and mother that you are. No one's really doing that for us.
Yes.
But regardless of that, I now understand and I've had to accept that regardless if it's not something that I absolutely need, if it's what you need, that's all that matters. And so I'm very intentional. I have to use logic.
Yes.
And I think that's why God said, see to it.
Oh, I like, you got to use what?
Logic.
So
logical. I have to think more logical, and I think that's why it said
wants.
that. Yeah.
That's what a man wants, and you know that what you're saying right now is that now that's a part of your shifting, your adjusting, because your nature is to feel. But in order to give us as husband what we need, you gotta think more logically,
and we need y'all to do what?
Think more with our hearts.
That part.
You know, we have to. You know, think more with our hearts and feel more things, feel more concern, feel more love for you and respond based upon love. And so, you know, I want to read this because, you know, I want everybody who listening to understand like what it is that we got into. And this is from 1 Corinthians 7. Because this, you know, Paul warned us. He was talking about marriage.
Yes, he did.
And he was like, okay, if you're going to get married, then you got to understand that there's going to be an adjustment. And this is what he was talking about. The adjustment. He said, I wish you can stay unmarried like me because I'm free. You know, matter of fact, he said that. He said, his only responsibility is to God. God alone. That's
it.
All I gotta do is find out, understand God, and give God what he needs.
That's it.
That's what he was saying.
Totally devoted to him.
That's it. I just gotta understand God. But he said, check this out. This is 1 Corinthians 7 and 32. He said, I would like you to be free from concerns. An unmarried man is concerned about the Lord's affairs.
All right.
He said how he can please the Lord only.
That's right.
You only got, if you're single, all you got to do is please the Lord. But he said, but.
You and God.
But you and God. You know, you and God do whatever y'all want to do. But a married man is concerned about the affairs of this world. See? How he can please his wife. So now you can't be totally
That's good.
In the presence of God, and you know, because when it's just you and God, then being in His presence all day long, you can do whatever you want because now it's between you. You want to please God, mm-hmm. and you concerned about the affairs of God, and church serving. Mm-hmm. That's all you focus on. But when you married, now you got to be concerned about the world. You got to come down from your mountaintop mm-hmm. and be concerned about your wife.
That's right. Because you chose her. You wanted to be married, sir, right? And so there's a responsibility to the covenant of marriage now. You have to really study her and figure out how to please her.
That's it.
Get the education, get the information, and learn how to please her. Yeah.
And I like this part here. It says, and his interests are divided. So he didn't say, let go of God. Mm-mm. He said, hold on, your interests, though, are divided. You can't only be interested in God. Mm-hmm. You got to be interested in your wife. Mm-hmm. what does she want? What does she desire? What does she need? You know?
And if I can pause it for a second, such as our leaders, our spiritual leaders out here that are managing a church and managing, because we've been ministers for years. We've been, out here evangelizing and helping people and things like that. But at the core, praise the Lord. I pray that God will give us some, stars in heaven for that. Right. But once we decide to get married, though, our priorities shift, and we just have to make sure that the main thing is the main thing.
That is it. And that's the thing, and in this scripture, it also talks to the wives too. All right?
Absolutely, because God keeps it balanced.
He keeps it balanced. He said the unmarried woman or virgin is concerned about the Lord's affairs, just as the single man. Her aim is to be devoted to the Lord in both body and spirit. See? I'm going to be in the face of God. I'm going to do whatever God wants. I'm going to sanctify myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to be sanctified before the Lord. You can do all that. But a married woman is concerned about the affairs of this world. See? How she can please her husband.
Interesting.
And he said, I am saying this for your own good. Not to restrict you, but that you may live in the right way in undivided devotion to the Lord. So what he's basically saying is that now once you married, I'm trying to make this thing right for you so that your life, so you can be happy.
Yep.
So that you be undivided. You have undivided devotion to the Lord. So you serving your spouse is the Lord's will.
Wow.
That's it.
Amen. And so, we get out here and we get all these jobs and businesses and careers, and we're on the usher board, and we're serving in all these community events, and the husband is home needing some things from us, and we're like, I don't have time for that because I'm doing XYZ. That scripture speaks against that. We have to make sure that we're both making sure that we're pleasing one another with our deepest needs. And so if your deepest need is to be noticed and acknowledged for the things that you're doing and to be held in high esteem as a husband, then that's my duty and that's my responsibility and that's my priority. I tell you often, I'm like, babe, I choose to meet your needs, and you tell me the same. You say, I choose to meet your need, so we just have to make sure that we're biblical out here. And that we keep it God and not get off into, I guess, self, fulfillment really, no, this is what I want to do, because marriage is not about us individually. It's about pleasing God at the end of the day and each other.
That's it.
So it's a sacrificial institution. You know what I'm saying?
And that's it. If we both keep that mindset, then we will be pleasing God. You know what I'm saying? So with that, we would like just for y'all, man, really for that, listen to this podcast, babe. This was a great conversation.
Yeah.
And there's so much more that we can say about that, but we gotta get out of here, man. But that scripture and everything that you said, I won't definitely stamp that, because that once we get to this mindset of serving each other, then there will be more harmony, more peace, and more fulfillment in marriage for both people.
Absolutely. So it is my responsibility. It is my duty to meet your deepest need of feeling like you're enough. I want to make sure that just anything that you ask of me, I'm going to make sure that I do a good job in that on a daily basis. You as a man need to feel adequate. You need to feel capable. You need to feel like you're enough, because one of the main complaints that men say is, I can never please this woman. It's never enough. And nothing I do is enough for her. That's what we hear from y'all all the time. And so it's my job to do a better job in that area.
And also, just to confirm for the fellas out here, our job as husbands is to make sure that you feel loved every day, every single day. When you pull away, chase after. When they pull away, chase after that wife. When they are down, chase after her. Let her know that you appreciate her, you love her, that you're glad that you married her. That's one thing that I really, really love, man. We listen to a lot of podcasts and that's one thing that I picked up. It's like you got to feel like your husband made a good choice. and that they know that
unique,
that they know that you're special, that they know that they made a good choice. And so our job as husbands is to continue to love our wives on a daily basis.
That's right.
And that will continue to keep that love bank full. So
there you go.
Look, if y'all take these, there you go. And if you take these messages and you apply it to your life, you two can say through it all,
we still win.
Good talk, baby.
Thanks, man.
Certified marriage mentors LaTroy and Christina Brown have a new book, The Marriage Mouth. They are the founders of Married for Real and have been reaching hundreds of thousands of people around the world with their transparent and relevant approach to common marriage issues. So many people have been asking for the book, and now you can have it for yourself. This dynamic book is full of powerful topics, prayers, and confessions. It's a book you'll never be done with. It was designed to use as a spiritual guide and tool to address most marital situations. The Marriage Mouth. Your mouth is a weapon. Don't use it against your spouse. Order your copy today at Amazon.com or go to our website at marriedforreal.com.